A 20-year-old student went for a run and disappeared without a trace. The whole country was watching for her, and the police could not find a single clue. The truth, revealed through surveillance footage, shocked all of America and sparked fierce controversy. Today we will tell you the story of Mollie Tibbetts and what her disappearance led to. Mollie Tibbetts was born on May 8, 1988 in San Francisco, California. When she was in second grade, her parents divorced and Mollie moved to Iowa with her mother and two brothers. Her father, however, continued to maintain a close relationship with his children. After high school, she enrolled at Iowa State University as a psychology major. In her spare time, she worked at a day camp at the regional medical center. She had an active lifestyle, played sports, and had many friends. She spent the summer of 2018 in a tiny town called Brooklyn, which is also in Iowa. It is barely over 3 kilometers in size and only has 1,400 people living there. It would seem that in such a quiet place, where everyone knows each other, nothing terrible could happen. On July 18, 2018, Mollie was going for a run. She was living in Brooklyn with her boyfriend, Dalton Jack, at his brother's house. On the evening of that day, she was in the house alone. Her boyfriend was away at work in another town 210 kilometers from Brooklyn. Mollie sent him a picture on Snapchat and went out for a run at about 7:30 p.m. The next day, Mollie was supposed to go to work, but she never showed up. This seriously disturbed her family and boyfriend. They all knew that the girl was extremely responsible and never missed work without warning. In addition, she did not respond to calls and messages. As a result, the parents decided to contact the police, who began a search for Mollie. From the early days, the case began to attract increased attention across America. As for the residents of Brooklyn, for them the disappearance of a young girl was a real shock. Nothing like this had ever happened in this tiny town before. People had never locked their doors and were sure of their own safety. Mollie's father, Rob Tibbetts, came to Brooklyn from San Francisco and took an active part in the search. He handed out flyers with her photographs, questioned people, and tried in every way to help the investigation. Parents did not give up hope until the very last moment that their daughter would be found alive and unharmed. 3 agencies got involved in the search for the girl: the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Poweshiek County Police Department. Together they worked more than 2,000 leads and interviewed about 500 people. The search for Mollie was scattered throughout Brooklyn's neighborhoods. At one point, law enforcement received a report that Mollie had been spotted at a truck stop in Kearney, Missouri, 380 miles from Brooklyn. Police checked this information and could find no confirmation. The police, as is proper in such cases, checked the theory that her boyfriend was involved. Statistically, most crimes of this nature are committed by relatives or loved ones, but not this time. The boyfriend's alibi was ironclad. He really was in another city and physically couldn't have been in Brooklyn that night. Time passed, and the search for Mollie yielded no results. The Criminal Investigation Division announced a cash reward for any information leading to the girl's return alive and unharmed. The amount grew steadily and eventually reached $366,000. This was very substantial money even by US standards, and for the state of Iowa, the reward was a record. At one point, police said they were narrowing the search for Mollie to a few locations around Brooklyn: her boyfriend's house, several local farms, a gas station, a truck stop, and a car wash, but none of it helped locate Mollie. The police received hundreds of leads, each of which led to a dead end. There was one episode, however, that struck me as odd. The owner of one of the pig farms where the police concentrated their search was extremely reluctant to contact law enforcement. He denied any involvement in Mollie's disappearance, but refused to take a polygraph examination. All this made him an excellent candidate for the role of suspect, but there was no evidence against him. This meant that the police could neither interrogate the man nor search his farm property. As a result, the investigation was again at a standstill. The police tried to find some connection between the farm and Mollie's disappearance, but they were unsuccessful, at least at the time. That all changed on August 21st. A few days earlier, a law enforcement source told reporters that the police had found the body of a young white woman. Of course, Everyone immediately assumed it was Mollie, and they were right. On August 21st, the police issued an official statement. Mollie Tibbetts' body was found in Poweshiek County, where Brooklyn was located. The parents identified their daughter. Investigators immediately noticed she was missing two items she always took with her, a smartphone and a fitness bracelet. Soon the medical examiner made an official conclusion. The girl was attacked by several blows with a sharp object. This further shocked the residents of Brooklyn. They all knew each other and could not even think that there was a violent criminal among them. The newspapers also broke the story, making the whole of America talk about it. The solution to this gruesome crime was not long in coming. Almost immediately after the discovery of the body, police arrested 24-year-old Christian Rivera, an illegal migrant from Mexico who had come to the United States illegally 7 years before the incident. All that time he had worked on various farms, hiding under the name John Budd. Police came to the Riviera after reviewing camera footage near the route Mollie usually ran. In the footage, they spotted a Chevy Malibu car driving back and forth on the road with no apparent purpose. It's possible to say with certainty how the police got the confession. According to the official version, Riviera immediately confessed to what he had done as soon as they came in with questions. According to his story, he was driving by the road along which Mollie was running. He took a fancy to the girl and drove by her several more times. Apparently it was these movements that the police noticed on the surveillance cameras. At one point he stopped the car, got out, and ran alongside Mollie. At the same time, he began harassing her verbally, trying to gain the girl's affection. Mollie did not like it and threatened to call the police. When the girl reached for her phone, Riviera attacked her. He then dumped her body in a cornfield and fled. Already under arrest, Riviera suddenly changed his strategy and claimed that he remembered nothing of that night. It is possible that his lawyer persuaded him to withdraw his confession. The charges against Riviera were filed on August 22nd. At the trial, which began on September 19th, he pleaded not guilty. The trial dragged on for 3 years, largely thanks to the lawyers. Riviera's relatives hired 2 lawyers who tried with all their might to get an acquittal or the minimum possible punishment. The whole of America watched the trial. The thing is, this crime was committed during Donald Trump's presidential term. As many of you know, Trump has advocated stricter immigration laws, and it was Mexico that he focused on the most. The Trump administration used the crime that Riviera committed to its advantage. The sad fate of Mollie Tibbetts was cited as an example of why Trump's reforms are necessary for America. The girl's father spoke out strongly against his daughter being used in political disputes, but no one listened to her father. One girl's story resounded across the country in the context of the immigration laws. After all, it is difficult not to agree that illegal migrants are a danger when literally under the nose appears just such a case. The speed of the criminal trial was also affected by the pandemic, and it wasn't until May 17, 2021 that the main part of the hearing began. Riviera continued to insist on his innocence, but he didn't stand a chance. On May 28th, the court handed down its verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder, Riviera received a maximum sentence for the state of Iowa, life in prison without parole. He will now spend many years in prison at the expense of American taxpayers. Politics aside, Mollie Tibbetts' story once again shows us a sad truth. Danger can await anyone when they are not expecting it, and none of us are immune. Be vigilant, take care of yourself, and thank you for watching.